actually already gone by. We've already harvested this.
Wow,
See
but
how they're
can you-
going to seed?
Do you get more out of it though, or when it goes by, do you pull it up?
We just eventually, once this whole row is harvested, we'll till it in and plant something new. So we'll probably plant 3 different things in this particular
Wow.
row this year.
Wow. So what you do is you rotate your crops and you have
Yes.
different things growing all the time.
Yep.
That
Yep.
is so cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So today we are here in my backyard with Tracie Smith
Yes.
from Tracie's Community Garden and CSA
Tracie's Community Farm.
Community Farm.
Yeah.
And we have Marcia Duffy as our co-host. So we're going to check out a little bit about what's going on here. How many acres do you have here?
We have 10 acres of open fields. It's all Beckett fine sandy loam. It's a prime agricultural soil, really good soils here. And then we have 23 acres of woods, some of which can be converted into fields in the future.
Wow. And you have a field across the street. I mean, I saw beautiful asparagus as we were coming in.
Yep, we got all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah, it's just incredible. So if you get a chance to drive out Fitzwilliam Way, it's worth just driving by even, but you should stop. But this farm here is not where you got started.
Right, I started in Sullivan about 14 years ago. When I was 19, I was going to UNH studying environmental horticulture. I really wanted to grow vegetables for a living. So my dad let me start on his land. I started doing farmers market for a couple years. The year I graduated in 2001, I started a CSA. And each year I grew the CSA, grew the business, grew my credit. And 9 years later, I found this land, which has been amazing. It's really good soil here, great community, great location. We're right off Route 12. So I've been very fortunate. It was very affordable for a farmer. The previous owners, because it has prime agricultural soils here, wanted to keep it in farming. So they put it in a conservation easement and sold it to me for a reduced price. That was affordable for me.
Right.
So here I am with 33 acres and beautiful lands and keeping the farm going.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's great. And you have a crew and you feed them lunch.
Yeah, we have 6 full-time employees. Sarah Gregory, Sarah Wilson, Kristen Fries, Alex Parker, Andrea Gilling, and James White. They're all great. 4 of them came back from last year. One of them, Sarah Gregory, it's her 3rd year here. So we have a great crew. We also do have some work shares who help with the harvest, and we have people who help deliver shares. Half of our members get their shares delivered, half pick up at the farm.
Where do you deliver to when you say deliver?
We deliver to Keene, Swansea,
right to their
Richmond,
house?
Troy, right to their house.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we deliver to their house,
Wow.
and then if they pick up at the people who pick up at the farm, they get $60 off their share. So people who deliver pay a little more for their share. We deliver to not Hancock, sorry. We used to deliver to Hancock. We don't anymore. Peterborough, Dublin, Nelson, Harrisville,
Wow.
Swansea, Marlborough.
Wow.
So that's a
And
business
Jaffrey
in
Fitzwilliam.
and of itself.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot
Yeah.
to coordinate, but we do
Right.
it.
You have your own truck and
No. We have the work shares who live in certain areas deliver to that area.
Oh,
Nice.
see.
So they
you're
deliver
keeping it all-
in exchange for their share.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I noticed
Yep.
driving in that you have flowers right at the entrance of
Right.
your
Right. We
your
do
farm.
cut flower shares and pick your own flowers here as well. We have a base share and then we have some share options. So some people can choose the cut flower share. We do raspberry shares, blueberry shares, bread shares, egg shares, mesclun, kale, chard, herb for people who want those specific items in their share.
So now we're talking about shares.
Yep.
And we're talking about CSAs, and that's
Yep.
community supported agriculture.
Yep.
But can you tell me a little bit about it for some people that don't know what community supported agriculture is?
Community supported agriculture is a concept where members buy a share at the beginning of the season. Sometimes they can break up payments throughout the season. Depending on what they are able to do, we're fine with that. Most farms seem to be okay with that. And they get a basket or a allotment of vegetables throughout the season. We do spring, summer, and fall shares. We break up the season because we can offer different quantities of shares depending on the season. Less spring shares, more summer shares, a medium amount of fall shares. This year we did 30 spring shares, 320 summer shares, and 90 fall shares. We're hoping to do more fall shares this season.
Wow.
So basically people get to buy into the farm, and then they get whatever's in season. So they're eating seasonally, whatever's available that week. And what a lot of our members find who actually get the spring, summer, and fall share is that they can eat locally all season long, because they're getting their spring share starting in mid-March, and then it goes till the end of May. Then we do the summer share from mid-June through the first week in October, and then the fall share goes from the second week in October through mid-December. And a lot of the stuff that comes in the fall share lasts all winter long. So they basically are finding that with all the vegetables they have stored in their fridge from their fall share, it takes them even through till the next time they get their carrots or beets, onions, garlic, whatever.
Right.
And then they start getting greens again in mid-March, because we have it's all unheated passive solar greenhouses where we grow greens. So it works out really nice.
What do you grow your greens in? Like, what medium do you use to get started with things?
Well, in the greenhouse, it just gets grown in the ground, but we amend with compost. We've also gotten to nutrient-dense farming, where we put a lot of nutrients into the soil that a lot of people don't even pay attention to. That,
like what?
there's all kinds of boron. They're micronutrients. I'm just trying to think of other examples of them. There's tons of them.
Like, what could somebody do at home to help their gardens?
An easier way to do it than we're on such a scale, we do both, but fish fertilizer and seaweed fertilizer have a lot of these micronutrients that a lot of regular fertilizers and even compost don't necessarily have, that plants need. They're these micronutrients that soil tests aren't even testing for, because people are forgetting about the importance of them, and we are losing them in our soils over time.
So it's the little things that people don't even think
about.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And so an easy way to deal with that would be using seaweed and fish fertilizers.
So you're using probiotics in the garden, in a sense?
Sort of. We're doing a lot of that too. We actually do a lot of inoculations of bacteria and things like that on the seeds that are all natural. They're in their environment, but you want to make sure they're there. And that helps with disease prevention and the plants just being able to absorb the right nutrients and fight off diseases. So.
What do you do for pest management?
Pest management, we do a lot of, for one thing, the nutrient. You first want to make sure that you're putting the right nutrients in your soil so the plants are healthy. That's the biggest thing for disease and pests. Another thing we do is crop rotation. We grow so many different crops here that we have plenty of room for crop rotation. Another thing we do is use a lot of row covers. The people call it remay. It's white, but it lets the sun in, and that prevents pests from finding the plants. We do that with a lot of our plants early on. So those are the main things.
Do you do any beneficial insects?
We don't do beneficials. Beneficials are a tough thing to do. I've messed around with it a little bit in the greenhouse because that will work better.
Right.
But a lot of times they will fly away.
There goes
So yeah, what we're more about is the crop rotation, and there's a lot of beneficials around just from all the wildflowers.
And I think you do have some beneficials that are in boxes down the way.
Oh, well, we do have bees. We have beneficial bees, actually. We do.
From
So,
New Hampshire honeybee.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it really does make a difference to have a beekeeper around.
Oh,
too.
it does.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I've noticed a huge difference since I started getting bees, for
Yep.
sure. You
Yep.
need bees to pollinate the flowers.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
So you have all kinds of stuff here.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
Right.
But you
Yeah.
have. What are some of the crops that you have over in this section over here? And then I'd like
Okay.
to see what we have behind us
Okay.
too.
We have garlic, corn, beans, dill, chard, kale, broccoli, parsley, celery, celeriac, lettuce, and quite a few seedings of broccoli. That's one thing we do. We reseed things throughout the season, so we have different varieties of things coming in throughout the season.
And I noticed last year you had
Summer
eggplant.
squash,
Do you
zucchini,
have
cucumbers,
eggplant
eggplant, peppers,
Yeah.
melons, tomatoes. We have tomatoes in the greenhouse over there.
So when all of these are starting to bloom or to produce fruit.
Yeah.
You sell them at your farm stand or?
Well, what we do is we give out to the CSA,
Right.
and we've learned that there's a limit to what the shares can take.
Right.
So I've been doing this, now it's,
A few years.
yeah, a few years.
14
14 or
so,
something like
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And I found that people, if you give them all the abundance that you get in a good year, they end up wanting a smaller size share every year. And this is what I found. Most of our members, even to this day, get a single share because they're so big as it is. We have 3 size shares as the single family and large family, but the vast majority do get the single. So we can't do a smaller share. It's so much work just to pack it.
Right.
So we don't want to give them too much, so then they won't want to join again, is what we find, because they feel like they're wasting
Yeah,
it.
because
and-
eating vegetables is a good thing, but you
Right.
can only eat so many
Right,
vegetables.
that's the
So-
thing.
And you
so
know,
we
you
try to manage the share size by selling abundance
Right.
in the farm store and to restaurants as well, is
Oh,
what we
excellent.
found. And that balances it out. So what we try to do is always grow too much for our members in case it's a bad year, so at least they still get what they're paying for. And then have a little, hopefully have, give them even extra, which we usually do. And then the abundance, like I said, goes to the farm store and the restaurants.
Yep.
So
Great.
yeah,
Great.
that's
Wow.
how we deal with that.
Okay, so we talked about this side.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
this
So
side.
on this side we have Brussels sprouts,
Yeah.
beets, bok choy, radishes, more Brussels sprouts, more radishes, spinach, Chinese cabbage, lettuce, carrots, more bok choy, more Chinese cabbage, radishes, mesclun lettuce. There's peas over here. We have cilantro in between the rows of peas, turnips, fennel, scallions, onions, more mesclun that's gone by down there, more spinach down there. And then we have tomatoes and peppers at the end down there. And then across the street over there, we have asparagus, raspberries, tomatoes, basil, parsley, cabbage,
So what are you
winter
thinking,
squash.
What are you thinking about monocropping?
Broccoli. Okay, yeah, monocropping is a lot easier, and I understand why farmers do it.
Yeah.
I totally get it because you can have specialized equipment. It's very efficient.
Yeah.
The problem with monocropping is that's where you're going to have problems with pests and
Right.
disease because they're going to build up in your soil. So that is one of the benefits, even though it can be a nightmare management-wise to have so many different crops, is that you are basically taking care of your disease problems, your pest problems, by rotating your crops. And you're never going to get like one insect just killing everything.
And
And,
how do you
you're always
select-
going to have something
yeah.
coming. No, even if you have a bad year of one thing, you're always going to have something good
So
coming
you have
in.
to track where you put everything
Yeah.
every year, and
Yeah.
keeping a log is really important. Even if you have a
Yes.
small garden,
Yeah.
it's really
Yeah.
important to rotate your potatoes and your tomatoes and other things because
Definitely.
you get all those pests in your garden,
Yeah.
and if they know where the food is, they'll be back the next year.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And how do you select your varieties for
So-
this region?
So over the years, I've experimented with a lot. I've done a lot of research. I go to conferences, first talk about what the best varieties are. So every year I get better at that, figuring out what does well. You have to trial, different lettuces, peppers, tomatoes, everything to see what does well in this area because of bolting for lettuces, same as spinach, yields, disease, and all of that. So every year I'm trying new varieties, and I've just learned over the years what I keep and then what I don't grow again.
And do you grow for the gardener?
Yeah, we do. We because we grow transplants for ourselves, we also grow for the farm stand. We have a farm stand out front where we sell vegetables, herbs, perennials. I'm trying to think what else, flowers, and raspberry plants as well.
And tell us how different that is from other farm, other stands where you can go and get, maybe some big box places where
Right.
you could go get
I definitely know
your
that a lot of the
starts.
bigger places, they don't necessarily grow varieties that are good in this area. They grow varieties that are good for down south where they can sell a lot more. They just buy one type of seed and just, ship it out to everybody.
Right.
So it is nice to go to someone who's actually using locally, they know that those seeds do well in this area. So it's good to grow to support a local farmer who's growing good varieties.
Yes.
I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah. So we only have a couple more minutes left.
Yeah.
I know that
Okay,
this
yeah.
half hour has gone by really
Wow.
quick.
Yeah.
Boom. But so you have places
Yeah.
for people to come here and buy things.
Yep.
They can come and visit.
Yep.
You sometimes have classes. So you have places
Yeah.
for people to come here and buy things.
Yep.
They can come and visit.
Yep.
You sometimes have classes when there's time
Yes.
allowed.
Yep.
Maybe one word about what do you like about this farm?
It's
you?
very rewarding. It's
Yeah.
very rewarding.
Yeah.
I just, ever since I was young, it's rewarding.
Yeah.
I just felt like this is what I was supposed to do. I had a connection with growing things,
Yeah.
and I just feel like it's very rewarding, and it's totally keeps me going. So,
So, if
yeah,
somebody
thank
is
you.
interested in contacting you,
Yeah.
they can go to
Yeah.
your website. You've
Yeah.
got a lot of information on your
Yes,
website. But you have Farmer Tracie, is it? Or
Yes, farmertracie@hotmail.com
is your email address.
is the
And then what's your
email.
web address?
It's traciesfarm.com, and the Tracie spelled with an IE, TRACIESFARM.com.
Ta-da!
So, yeah.
All right, that's
yeah,
so cool.
yeah.
So let's go pick some beans.
All right, let's go. All right, thanks. We'll see you in my backyard.
Bye.